Welcome back to another coding tutorial. In today's coding tutorial, I will be teaching you how to make a clone of Minecraft in Python. As you all know, Python is a 2D based coding language which most beginners start off with. And as you all may know, it is nearly impossible to create anything 3D with it unless you use an external coding engine. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be using the open source Ursina engine, which is under the MIT license and will be linked in the description below for more information. And it's really simple to download. It uses pip, which in most PCs and computers already has. So go into your command prompt, and you'll also need Python. So if you don't have it, click the link with the Python word in it and in the description. Now to download it, if you're on a Windows or Linux PC, type in pip install Ursina. Pip install Ursina. I'll paste this in the description below for your use. And if you're on a Mac, it is -m pip install Ursina. Pip install Ursina -m. Okay, now that downloading is out of the way, let's focus on coding. Quit out of your terminal and get rid of it from the dock. And open your code editor. For me, it's Visual Studio Code. Open a new folder if you already have one, and just call it Py. If it's your first Python file, just not name it whatever you want. Then make a new file inside that folder and call it main.py. And then here we have a blank space where we can code anything we want as long as it's in the Python language. Now let's import all the lines of code from the code library in Ursina into our code editor. To do this, type in from Ursina import space asterisk. This will import all the files except the prefabs, which we'll have to do manually. Now let's make a simple window which we can edit in the code editor to make it show our game. So let's first say app.run parentheses. So if we click this button, it will do this and run it. But if you try and click it now, it will not work because it's not defined. So if we want it to work, let's say we have to define it. So app equals to Ursina parentheses. There we go. These 3 lines will make a window. There we go. And it tells us our frame rate, even though there's nothing on the screen. And there's an X button you can click to quit out of it. Now that's done, let's start coding. Now, space all of these by 1 line, you'll trust me. And start by making a class for the buttons. What we're going to be using are entities. And entities are basically things on the screen that you can interact with if you type the right line of code. And we're going to be making a button entity. So a button entity is basically a button. When you click on it, something will happen, and when you click on it again with the right key, something else will happen. So if you understand Minecraft, you'll know that you use 4 keys. The WASD keys and the 2 mouse keys, the right and left. So let's make the keys first. So let's make a new class, and let's make it a voxel class with an entity of button. And semicolon. Okay, now let's define it. So def space underscores init, the init definition, and then it's going to define itself and mention its position. So the position will be, let's say, 0, 0, 0. There we go, semicolon. And then let's make some more definitions. So we're going to be using super init. If you don't know what that is, even I don't know what that is, but we're just going to be using it. So super parentheses dot 2 underscores init underscores parentheses there. We're going to be putting some not some, a lot of arguments in here to make our cube. One simple cube needs a ton of arguments. So let's make a scene. All you need to do is type the parent argument and put in a scene. Okay, add a comma. After that, you need to position it. So basically, what we've already done here is we've already mentioned the position up here. So this is the same word as here. So we just need to say position equals to position, comma. And then after that, let's make it a model. What model do we want it to be? We want it to be a cube, comma. Okay, now we need an origin Y. An origin Y is basically where does it start to be. You can put it at 1, 2, but if you want it to stay on the screen, I suggest you make it origin Y 0.5 or 0.5 for short, so it won't just go off the screen or go too far away from you and just fall in an endless loop of void. And then after that, let's give it a texture. Ursina already has built-in textures you can use, and if you want to know what textures there are, just click the link of the website. So let's use the white cube texture, comma. Don't forget to add a comma after every argument. And then let's give it a color. It will just end up white if we use the white cube texture. So let's give it a different shade. So color equals to color dot color in parentheses 0, 0. Okay, here's where we're gonna play around with it. Now we want it to have different shades of gray. So we'll need to make it a random uniform of a color. So basically, random dot uniform, and then parentheses from what level to another level. So basically, for mine, I want it to be from 0.9 to 1.0. That's already good enough. Add a comma. The last argument, let's make it a highlight color. So if your mouse is hovering over the cube, it would highlight to be that color. So basically, just start by highlight underscore color equals to color dot lime. A green color is good enough. Okay, now that we've done the arguments and the definitions of this cube, we need to move on to key inputs. So basically, we need to import every single key. So because we're using a 3D game and Ursina already has built-in prefabs, we'll import the first-person controller prefab. So follow after me from Ursina.prefabs .first underscore person underscore controller space import space first person controller. Okay, now that you've done that, it would pick up your game as a 3D game and you'll be a first person, and the cubes will just lay out in front of you according to its X, Y, and Z axis. Okay, now let's define some keys. So define input self, wait a minute, yeah, self, comma, space, key, and parentheses, semicolon, and then we want it to sense if it's being hovered over another mouse. So if self.hovered, semicolon, make another one, and then we want to sense if the right mouse is down. So if key right mouse down, semicolon. Okay, now we're gonna make it copy itself and paste it right in front of us. So let's make it so it has a class of voxel, and voxel has already been defined right here, so you don't need to worry. Voxel, let's say its position equals to its, well, position plus the mouse position. mouse.normal. Okay, let me check it. Okay, it looks correct. Okay, now that we've done the create block key, now we need a destroy block key. Let's make it the left mouse button. So if key left mouse down. Why do I feel like something's wrong? No. Semicolon. Then destroy well self. There. We've done the input keys. And this Ursina prefabs controller already has the WAS, A, S, and D keys built into it, so you don't need to worry about those. Okay, now let's make a for loop to generate the cubes. So, for Z, the Z-axis, in range, let's make it 8, so it doesn't lag too much. Then let's say for X in range 8, and then we'll say to position its voxels, it will be accordingly to the X and Z and not the Y, because we want it to be a super flat world. So voxel equals to voxel position equals to X, comma, Y0 and Z. Okay, let's see. Oh, and we also have to define the Ursina prefab. So copy this and basically say player equals to that. Let's see if it works. Oh, it does work. See? We've made not a perfect clone of Minecraft, but a clone of Minecraft. You've made your first Ursina project game. If this isn't your first project game and you've made something exactly like this, give yourself a pat on the back. Because in real Python or using Panda 3D, this would be kind of hard to make. Now you can create whatever you want, and you can even expand the size of the platform. Instead of 8, let's make it, well, 20. And change the x-axis to 20. It should load up the same. Yep, it loaded up the same. Now you have even more room. Well, I'm just gonna make a simple J. See? The J. Well, it's not symmetric. There we go. It's pretty cool how you can make this with just a delicious amount of code. 31 lines. It made Minecraft, people. 31 lines. This is how powerful Ursina is. Well, that's the end of this tutorial. If you need any help, please leave your comments in the comment section below and I'll try to read all of them. Thank you.